my world doesn't end with these four walls. Slough's a big place, you know. When I finish with Slough, there's a Reading, an Aldershot, Bracknell. You know, I've got a Didcot, Yateley, you know, Winnersh, Taplow, you know, because I am my own boss. I can, Burfield. Hello, there you go. There's a bit of Brentism for you. I hope you enjoyed that intro. That took me far too long this afternoon to sort that out. Welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, discussing Ipswich Town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodard. You're tuning into a live Q&A / pre-match show hybrid brought to you in partnership with our friends at the Ground Pub in Ipswich. And we are live, so we want to hear from you. In the green room going in, we wanted FA Cup memories, and Seb Brown, you were utterly miserable. Nothing.
Those of us that are watching, who started watching Town in probably the mid-90s like I did, who are in the live chat, will probably agree with me. What have we had? I mean, obviously we'll get to Dave and the phenomenal kind of tales and things he's experienced, but even you've got a couple of years on me, therefore you've got at least one happy memory, but I can't remember anything at all, I'm afraid. Nothing of joy in the FA Cup. Sorry.
Dave Diamond, is the magic of the FA Cup alive in you at least?
No. It is to a degree. I mean, obviously it's lost. As you know, I go back to those halcyon days under Bobby Robson when we did actually win the cup, but it's lost its appeal somewhat. But yeah, for those like me who were fortunate enough to witness that, yeah, it's still a magic. It's still a magic about it, but yeah, it's not quite what it was. Not quite what it was, unfortunately.
I mean,
a lot of happy memories. Good grief, back in those days, seeing Town in the
cup.
Some
good one-off moments in recent years. We were chatting about Blackburn, weren't we? The Richard Wright show at Blackburn. That was impressive, wasn't it? Paul Mason in the last minute.
That's like getting on for 20 seasons ago near
enough. It is.
Well, no, hang on, it is.
It's more than
we're
that.
talking about some local. It's like
26.
25. It's 25 years ago. 26 years. Oh, it's just ridiculous when you think about it. I think we said the most recent one was probably the 5th round game at Watford and a Jamie Peters, Danny Haynes dance, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, for wrongly was it offside or something? It didn't count, did it? So
it was offside.
No, I mean, literally
I'm not sure it was offside either.
I think literally they were celebrating and the ball was in our box.
Yeah.
It was just bizarre.
So I'm a big fan of the FA Cup. Don't get me wrong. I do really like it, and I think this tie is brilliant. I've just literally had nothing for 25 odd years of following Ipswich Town. I'm afraid. Sorry.
El Mazzuni's goal at Oldham last year was a highlight. Absolute corker, wasn't it? Absolute corker. But yeah.
Well, my first Ipswich game was, and I think I've mentioned this on the pod before, was Liverpool at home in the 5th round. I think it was 0-0, windy day, walkie at the bar. We should have won, and then the replay at Anfield. So that was, I mean, we didn't win it, but that was kind of special a little bit. That was a memorable season. No,
that's 30 seasons ago, isn't it? 19. Yeah, that's just mad, isn't it? 92. That was early.
Scary.
92.
Well, in the chat, hello, evening into the chat. We'll say hello to you. As I mentioned at the top, this is a live Q&A / pre-match show. We are not going to be able to drill into this week's opponents, Bracknell Town, in as much detail as we might usually. So if you've got any interesting insights, apart from David Brent quotes that you can chuck at us, we are all ears. We're all here to get each other enlightened on what's going on. But we want to hear from you on FA Cup memories. I'm surely folk have got some out there. So let us know that. And we're also here to chat all things ITFC as well. So we'll go where the conversation takes us. We'll stay here as long as you want us to as well. So evening to Nick. Hope it's not going to be a nightmare. Let's start with positivity, shall we? Michael, morning from Brisbane, the magic of the FA Cup, but it's not a Saturday at 3 p.m. Evening to Charlie, and Slough indeed is a big place. Evening to Matt, Robin Turner double in the snow, Dave.
Oh, look at that! I was there
that day.
Bristol Road was Eastwell in the 77, in the 78, obviously cup run. Yeah, when we should have been out at 3-1, Bobby Gould scored a perfectly good goal. And it would have put us out of the cup, very controversially disallowed. And Robin Turner with a brace. Yeah, it was pretty grim. Yeah, that day.
There's a blast from the past. Eric Clapton was there and at the semi under the clock. Were you at West? Were you?
Yeah,
West Brom in the
indeed.
semis,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and very much like with, I've got some great stories to tell about that one. I probably have told them in the past, but I went there with my dear old dad to that one. Absolute brilliant day. Yeah,
I think
for me that was almost on a par with the final. That to finally get to Wembley was just, and I can clearly remember Woods' corner and Walk heading it in at 3-1, and you're there, and it's just they're right in front of the clock end as well. Absolutely crazy.
And fantastic commentary on the BBC. Was it David Coleman? I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what a game! You had the Wild, the Talbot injury, the the blood. It looked like a massacre, didn't it? It was incredible.
And we were in white as well that day, as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it was a weird one. And they were in their away kit as well. They were in their green and yellow stripes. Yeah.
I'll dig that Walkie goal out because that's special. And I think I posted, there was a match of the day special by John Motts in the early 90s, a VHS, and they went through our teams. So I will repost that just to try and inspire a little bit of excitement. Seb's still got a miserable face on him. So
do it.
Whitfield sliding in at the far post, 4 minutes from time.
I remember, mate,
Liverpool.
Paul,
75 says Paul.
Remember that as well, Paul. Clearly remember that.
34,000 Portman Road. Wow, there you go.
The game after that was a game when we were, and again, that's on Match of the Week with Jerry Harrison's commentating. You can still see that on YouTube when we were 2-0 down against Aston Villa, who are Division 2 side. Well, obviously Division 1 in old money, and we were 2-0 down with about 20 minutes to go, and then won 3-2. That was a pretty special atmosphere that day as well.
Yeah. Jealous. Talking of Villa, Matt's my first game. FA Cup 5th round v Villa, lost 3-1. Mason consolation goal in front of the Churchmans. I think Villa, the era being Savo Milosevic.
I'd say Savo Milosevic
as well. I remember watching that on Match of the Day. Yeah,
that may well have been the game after that Blackburn game. 96.
It was. I think maybe you're right. Yeah. Or was that 3rd round possibly? Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Possibly, but I think that was that same season.
Need to check that one out. Yeah. And we've had some. I remember I remember this stuff because I've posted footage of it. There's a great game where Craig Forrest single-handedly keeps us in it. It might be Wolves away, and he makes an amazing set of saves
in the cup.
In the cup at Molineux when they were in Division 1 and we were. I think it was 93-94, so someone will correct me. So, but yeah, I've posted that footage on Twitter as well, so I'll dig that out as well. Even to David, Transistor Radio, Monday 12:30.
Yeah, I know. I'm right.
You'll have to translate this, Dave.
I mean, so that's when the cup draw always used to be 12:30 on a Monday lunchtime. Yeah, back in the day, so you'd be glued to that. And perverse, and I don't know if David W remembers this, but the very next day, every Tuesday, the charts used to come out. The music charts used to come out, and that was always on a Tuesday lunchtime as well. Bizarre, you remember this stuff, but yeah, cup draw 12:30 live from the FA headquarters with Ted Croker, I think was the chairman of the FA at the time. Oh, mate, honestly,
I remember. Yeah. Is it David Kelly? It's more my era.
Yeah, David Kelly, but back then it was. I think it was back then it was Ted Croker. Yeah,
and we rarely talk about this as well. The Intercity Football Special. Just there used to be dedicated train services to take Ipswich fans to matches.
I have gone up from Ipswich to Shrewsbury and back again on the same train. Yeah, without changing.
Any stops on the way, just straight.
Oh my God! Where's Jules? I hope Jules is listening to this because I think I've had this conversation before. So in 1981, when we played Shrewsbury, drew 0-0. That's when Burley did his cruciate knee that day. Got away with a 0-0 draw. Norwich were playing at Man City away, 4th round. Got beat 6-0. Train coming back. The train we're on coming back pulls in at Peterborough alongside the Norwich train coming back from Manchester.
Oh, wow.
All hell broke loose on the platform. Yeah. I'm sure Jules. Not saying you were there or involved, Jules, but I bet you remember that.
Jules was instigating it. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, Matt was sat in the old North Stand and remembers someone lobbing the ball back to Bosnich and it hitting him on the head. This is what memories are made of. So it's not the wins; it's the.
I've got some very memorable ones. I mean, I remember Lincoln very clearly. They're just not great memories. That's the problem.
Wow.
They're just not great problem. They're just not great memories.
Try to erase that one.
FPL Tractor, Nicky Hammond air kicking at Churchman's in 94. That's a Nicky Hammond. God, you'll have to give us some more detail there, FPL Tractor. That's not ringing any bells for me.
Nicky Hammond. We beat Spurs in that. I think that was the season we beat Spurs. We beat 3-0 in the cup. Yeah. Marshall.
Okay, we figured it out. Detectives, I'm loving this. Paul Power smashing one in.
Oh, stop
BT
it.
coming on, playing up front. Michael Warner. There you go. Charlie D. There we go. 3-0.
Yeah.
And then mentioning that Wolves game, we did go out in the replay.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's Jules. Ray.
There he is, Jules.
Instigating trouble. Yeah. Nicky Hammond was Swindon. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Yeah,
Marshall
okay.
scored a good goal against them in the cup, I believe. There is a lot of negativity though. Still, Eric Villapart 81 lost to Man City. He broke his arm. That was it. Yeah. Jules, not even going to mention my first FA Cup game. Well, there you go.
Come on, Jules.
That conversation went well. We'll come back to Jules. Keep your thoughts on FA Cup coming. If you are glass half empty, for once, it's Seb is the Jonah Hill to my Channing Tatum. I'm excited by FA Cup.
I like the FA Cup. Just to clarify, I do really like it, and I really like this tie. I've just got literally no happy memories of the FA Cup from my time watching Ipswich Town, I'm afraid.
Can I surprise you? I actually like the FA Cup.
I do. I really do. Well, it's not the competition it was when I was, growing up as a kid. It's not what it once was. But for me, this kind of tie is what it's all about, because you can get excited about this sort of tie. We've had so many across the years of Portsmouth twice, Lincoln, etc. This is a tie we can actually really get excited about. And this is what the cliche alert, the magic of the cup is all about.
And again, when I grew up as a kid, age showing here, but again, it was only one of, if there wasn't a World Cup or a European Championships in that season, it was only one of 3 live games all season. Wow. So yeah, it was pretty, along with England, Scotland, and the European Cup final.
Yeah, Charlie D agreeing with you. The quality of the draws leaves a lot to be desired, doesn't it?
We had
Portsmouth all the time, buddy. Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Seb, talk to us about Bracknell then. Let's try and
come on, Seb.
Let's drill into this line.
Come on, man.
At least give us the details of where they are in the pyramid and how they're getting on so far this season.
So Bracknell currently find themselves 11th in the Southern Football League Premier Division South.
They're pitching in Southern Football League Premier Division South.
2 leagues below what we know as the conference. So 4 leagues below us and 2 leagues below the conference with the likes of Wrexham and Southend and stuff in them. They've got 2 to 3 games in hand on most teams above them. So they are currently 11th, but they've got those games in hand at the moment. Also in their league, to give you an idea, you've got things like the Met Police, Swindon Supermarine, Hayes and Yedding, Gosport Borough. These are the kind of
FA
sides.
Cup triumphs for those guys. I'm pretty certain they've got to the first round proper at least.
I always look out for the Met. Yeah, the Met Police is one I always look out for in the early rounds of the draw and stuff. That's this league is the equivalent of the Isthmian League Premier Division in our part of the world. So it's the equivalent of things like Billericay, Bishop Stortford, Canvey Island. Those kind of size clubs is the comparison what we're going up against on Monday nights.
Yeah, and for those of you who know AFC Sudbury, who are in the draw, aren't they? They've only got Burton, haven't they? Felixstowe Walton. Is it Needham? Apologies.
Yeah,
AFC Sudbury, Felixstowe Walton are the tier below, but they might be some names that are familiar. And
so this is step 3, isn't it? I think.
Yes,
step 3.
Step 3.
Yeah.
So there you go. So, and having a pretty decent season, and although FA Cup wise, Seb, this is it's not unprecedented, but
no, it's equal.
It's that we're talking about with Ipswich having success.
Yeah, it's equal their best ever performance, 2000, 2001. I wonder what we were doing in that season. They got to the first round proper that year as well. So this equals their best ever performance. They're in a decent run of form. They've won 3, drawn 2 of their last 5 games. They've not lost since the 24th of September. They lost to Salisbury, which was their new manager's first game in charge, and they've not lost since then. So they're on a reasonable, decent run of form. And as you can imagine, trying to find the usual possession stats, shooting direction stats, all the stuff we normally talk about just doesn't simply exist at this level. So I did a bit of digging into the history, which is quite interesting. They were founded in 1896 as Old Bracknell Wanderers, and they changed the name to Bracknell FC in 1949. The current chairman, there's a really good Kings of Anglia pod out today, which I highly recommend you all go and listen to. And he was on their show a couple of weeks ago as well. Kane Sternum Boosa took over at the start of the 2016-2017 season, and he kind of really made major improvements both on and off the pitch for them. They put in a new playing service. He upgraded some of the changing rooms. They rebranded the badge, upgraded the clubhouse, spent a fair bit of money. And since he's taken over, they've kind of been on a really decent, impressive kind of rise at the leagues.
And the Kings of Anglia podcast is excellent, by the way. Done a couple with those guys now, and today with one of the managers as well. They've got joint managers who we'll talk about in a sec. And he kind of maybe in a kind of David Brenty, what kind of way, said, "Oh, ITFC were pleasantly surprised when they saw the changing room." So yeah, they have done some investment there. They're still going to have a bit of an uncomfortable walk from the coach, apparently. So it makes me think of the Damned United when Leeds turn up at Derby, and they used to walk through the town, didn't they, Dave, when they were played away games in the cup or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's brilliant. And in the Damn United, when the club was waiting for him, and Remy and the team just walked straight past him.
Yeah.
No, it will certainly be an experience. And I thought surely the lowest ranked team in any cup match or anything Ipswich have ever played in the cup must be. What I also did see, they had a pretty decent season last year, so they got promoted to Step 3 from last season. Last season they had a good season. They took 96 points from 108.
Yeah,
pretty consistent stuff.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, it's brilliant for them. Hopefully, kind of a nice, straightforward draw for us.
Clip that bit. Clip it.
If it was at Portman Road, Dave, I think I'd agree with you. But
really,
yeah, we'll be playing at the SB Stadium.
Yeah, we will.
It's a decent surface, though, by all accounts.
Known as Bottom Meadow. Bottom Meadow, boy.
But they actually play in Sandhurst, don't they?
Yeah, so 2,000 capacity, I think it's capped.
Yeah.
A lot of chat in the Blue Monday Telegram group about difficulty sorting tickets and extra batches being on sale and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw that later today.
I would suggest getting there early, folks, if you're like Joe going there.
It was quite funny. I think it was one of our Telegram followers. I think it was Justin, said that he was hoping to do the old-fashioned behind the goal in the first half. We're attacking and walk a bit like Felix Stone, and walk round behind the goal in the second half. But whether they'll be, I don't think there's a great deal of segregation, but I'm not sure that will be allowed. But who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
Been experience, that's for sure. And obviously it's live, but fortunately it's not on Sky. It's on ITV. We'll be all right.
Yeah, like Barrow last season, Dave.
Like Lincoln was on BBC. Yeah,
Barrow on ITV, was it? I think you might be right. Actually.
ITV. Me and Ben did a watch along. More on that later. We'll be doing another watch. Last time out, Seb, a win in the league.
Yeah, 3-2 win over Winchester City. They went 2 goals ahead, I think. 1-0 up, equalised, 2-1, 3-1, and then there was a bit of a scare in injury time, but unlike some clubs this week, they saw it out to get the victory. Cameron English scored twice for them, and Liam Ferdinand. I checked, no relation to Rio or Les. I thought, I've got an in there, but no, nothing at all, I'm afraid. He got the other goal. In terms of the RFA Cup performance to get to this stage, they joined at the first qualifying round. They beat Harlow 4-1. Chesham with a replay, which was 2-2 and then 3-0. They beat Banbury 2-1 in the previous round. So they're in decent form. They scored 22 goals so far in the 5 games in all competitions since the draw was made. So they are going into this one in a decent run of form, and they are scoring pretty freely at the moment.
But they are. There's lots of caveats with that. So yeah, clearly a good number of goals in 5 games, right? But 2 of those games was an 8-0 and a 6-0. The 8-0 was in a trophy match. So they are battling on 4 fronts at the moment. FA Cup is one. The Zuzu FA Trophy is the other one. The Berkshire FA Trophy or something, the Senior Cup or something, as well as the league. So they are battling on lots of fronts, but they do have a big squad. We'll talk about the squad shortly. There is a lot of players. They've made a lot of recruitment in the summer and have added since the new managers came in as well. So certainly matches are not a problem for them. A lot of rotation, which makes our life even more difficult to try and pin a team down. Talk to us about the managers, Seb. Joint
managers, yeah. Carl Withers, who thank the Lord is still with us. Sorry, I had to get the part.
Apollo Creed
and Jamie McClurg. They're the 2 that are there. Appointed in September.
I can't believe you didn't make that. There's an Apollo Creed in there for you, Seb. No,
it's Apollo Creed. That's Carl Withers.
Yeah. That's the joke.
Splitting.
Keep going. Keep going.
Splitting.
Appointed in September, so that the Salisbury defeat was their first game in charge. I guess they only took over, I think, 3 days before that, so didn't really have a chance to get their stuff across on the training pitch. So they're the joint management team. They left the Isthmian League South Central Division side Binfield. So I keep thinking it's like the Tupac references last week, isn't it? They left Binfield. They were kind of approached by the chairman of Bracknell. They were doing well there. They were second in the league, had only conceded 1 goal in all competitions, and they'd reached the FA Cup 3rd qualifying round for the first time in Binfield's history. So they were doing decent job there when they were pinched. Withers made 600 plus career appearances in midfield for Binfield. He also played for Flackwell Heath and Bracknell themselves towards the end of his career.
Flackwell Heath. These sound like
Flagwell.
made up
These
team
names
names
are
from Roy and the Rovers, isn't it?
they're
Go on,
brilliant.
Dave.
These names. Some of these names are brilliant.
Go on, Dave.
I've played golf at Flagwell Heath. You don't need a caddy. You
Hey.
don't need a caddy at Flagwell Heath. You need a mountain goat. Let me tell you, as a caddy, it is mountainous. It's right on the court, right on the edge of High Wycombe as you go in. Anyway,
Thanks,
sorry.
Flim Flam. Flim Flam got it straight away. Come on, Seb.
Sorry.
Anyway, keep going. He's in Mandalorian as well, Carl Weathers. Anyway,
He
going.
is. So yeah, the previous manager, they had a guy called Bobby Wilkinson. What happened was when the chairman took over, they kind of got promoted, I think 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 years, moving up the various steps. And then because the COVID season, things kind of stalled a little bit. So they kind of did a mutual resignation, termination of Bobby Wilkinson's contract. He was at a stage where he wanted to kind of manage further up the pyramid, and out of respect for the season, like Dave mentioned, the season they had last year, where they won the league by like 20 points and got 96 out of a possible 100 and something, they kind of let him move on. And that's when they approached Withers and McClurg, and they took over.
And yeah, and have certainly gone down very well since then. And yeah, I've not really got much else to say. It's really tricky to find any more details about the guys apart from, you know, typical for this level journeyman players. I think Carl Withers was described as a Rolls-Royce midfielders, guys. There's an image for you. Probably the kind of player that a David Diamond would have liked, I assume.
Would have liked that, yeah. They would have liked that. Did I see they've got an out-and-out goal scorer, Jordan Esprit, is it? Tell me he's called it must be called Lotus, nickname Lotus. Tell me he is. I think he scored like 14 goals.
Yeah, should we talk about that now?
Number 9, classic number 9. Apparently, you know, loves a battle, loves a challenge, loves getting stuck in. He'll be a threat for whoever we play. We'll come on to try and predict what we're going to do with this one, but he'll be a bit of a battle for our centre halves, and have to be on form against him because he's 14 goals in 12 league games and a handful of cup appearances so far. So he's done a great season.
And obviously was a close season signing from Bedfont, of course.
Of course it was, Dave.
Of course it was. Yeah,
we all know that. Not the only player to come from Bedfont though. So
there you go.
Through so I've picked a few. Like I've tried to find some bits and pieces of interesting history with the squad. We can kind of talk through the team, but I really can't tell you the formation. I think it's a 4-4-2. But we really don't know. So we'll pick out individuals. I think it's much easier to do that and try and give you an idea of who's likely to play from who's featured of late. Michael Ecott in goal. Played the last couple of games in the FA Trophy. They've got Simon Grant, who saved a penalty against Windsor in that 8-0 game that I was talking about a few weeks ago. But I think it'll be Ecott that gets the nod. At the back, Dan Bayliss was picked up by Carl Withers with Kings of Anglia. He's the captain. 100 appearances, so he's doing quite well for himself. But the only other name really, Anthony Cheshire, has some Swindon experience. The Swindon lot, Slugs.
Swindon Slugs.
So yeah, so those are some players to look out for at the back. Anyone in midfield that catches your eye? So any names there? There's always what I used to. So when I was a kid watching Match of the Day, FA Cup, because you always got a random team got through. There was always someone who would make a name for themselves. They'd get on the telly, like Nathan Blake burst onto the scene, didn't he, in the FA Cup?
Do you remember the guy that Wickham signed? Or didn't they sign just before the game? They were playing Liverpool.
Roy Asando.
Was it? Yeah, and they just signed him for like 1 or 2 games, didn't they?
However, can I just say this is very topical for those oldies out there like me. The sad passing this week of Ronnie Radford.
Ronnie Radford,
yeah, who scored the absolutely unbelievable definition of a thunder bastard goal against Newcastle all those seasons ago. So
yeah, on a pitch that they will be looking to emulate, I'm sure, on Monday night.
And some absolutely brilliant commentary from John Motson.
Yeah, classic. Yeah. Any names there, Seb, jumping out at you? Good sounding names.
Cameron English, we mentioned, scored twice.
That's a very
Winchester.
non-league player name.
Yeah, he scored twice against Winchester in the 3-2 win in the last league game. And I like George Knight simply because he's played in the US for teams Charlotte Eagles and Ocean City Nor'easters, which I thought was was pretty decent.
Brilliant.
I think Daryl Sanders is one to watch out for as well. He was the other signing from Bedfont Sports Club, Dave.
Yeah.
And the previous manager, Bobby Wilkinson, said about him, "What a big signing for this football club. Daryl is an unbelievably talented player who has an eye for goal and can dictate games. He's a special lad who is joining a special group." There you go. Warm and fuzzy after hearing about Daryl Sanders. Ashley Lodge is kind of like one of those non-league players that just has been around for ages. I think Max Herbert is another one to look out for. One-time Wickham youth player. I think he's another David Diamond. Is going to like this kind of player. I got the look about him for me. So there you go. There's a midfielder. We talked about. Do you want to talk to us more about Jordan Asprey, Seb?
So like we said, he's the number 9. He's the guy in form with 14 goals so far this season. Signed from Bedfont, like Dave said in the summer. Quote here: Jordan is a special player in my eyes. He comes with great pace, power, and goals. He's a winner and a great addition to the football club. So he's clearly very, very highly thought of. And I guess, is it fair to say some of these players might see this as an opportunity, maybe to put themselves in the window very a little bit and look up? If they've got the ability to play, further up the pyramid, then this is a great chance for them to go out there and get themselves notice. So I guess he's one who might be looking to, kind of make a name for himself on Monday night and hopefully get some scouts or some people, watching a bit further up the food chain, hopefully to maybe get himself a move and advance his career a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of players in their mid-20s there as well. Some young players who I'd imagine don't feature because it's a tough game to be chucked in, but who knows? But yeah, it's a good shout for them. And yeah, Liam Ferdinand, we mentioned him as well. Joe Grant has got a bit of a story about him. He's just returned and is scoring goals, having ruptured his ACL last season and required reconstructive surgery. So what I'm looking for here, guys, is for the kind of players that ITV4's commentary team, which I assume will be Sam Matterface possibly, but they like a player with a story, don't they? They like the postie or something like that. So these are the ones we're picking out for you. But in terms of lineups, guys, we're not going to try and speculate. I think we've named quite a few probable starters there, and I'd imagine Asprey starts up front, and Grant maybe or Ferdinand. But in all honesty, we're clutching at straws a little bit. But there you go. Any other thoughts? Any other additions that we've got on Bracknell before we move away?
I thought it was quite interesting. Sorry,
go on, Seb. Go on, you go.
I thought it was quite interesting on the Kings of Anglia podcast. They asked Carl Withers, what's your approach to this game going to be? How are you going to approach it? And he was very clear, wasn't he? He said he wants to see an entertaining game. He wants the players to, the old cliche, have no regrets, leave nothing, and make sure everything's left out on the pitch, and really look to go for it. They said we've already got a 1% chance of doing this, but in order to do that, they're going to have to be fully at it. And hopefully, we won't simply see, like we see in the league occasionally, a side sitting there parking the bus. I'm hoping it should be a really entertaining game, hopefully, based on what they've said.
Yeah, acknowledge that sitting back against us is just going to get them picked off, isn't it? So yeah, Dave.
Yeah, no, just the chairman's come across really well, hasn't he? Really, really well. I mean, he's got, obviously, say you read earlier this week, he's got a lot going on outside of football at the moment, and he's been his sort of private life, and all good wishes there. But I think he's spoken really, really well.
Yeah, and it's worth mentioning as well. Clearly, we'll talk about Ipswich in a second. We also want to get. We've had a bash at giving our Ipswich Town starting 11s, which I think is going to be really tricky to do. So get your thoughts in the chat now as to how Kieran McKenna might deal with the lineup here. Worth mentioning that these are non-professional players here. A lot of them are going to be taking the day off work and all that kind of stuff. The manager, Carl Withers, does computer-aided design, I think, does some building design work. He'll be having a half day.
Yeah, he's working in the morning.
I love that. God,
so all very normal, but it sounds like they'll be trying to approach it. Again, this is the Great Kings of Anglia podcast.
As normal as possible.
On Thursday, so go check that out. But yeah, having the professional kind of pre-match experience of meeting up for a meal and going and traveling together with the coach. So yeah, good luck to them, and I'm sure they'll enjoy the occasion, and we just need to make sure we do a professional job, don't we? We'll talk about Ipswich in a second. Firstly, David, thank you as always. We've super generous on the super chat. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks,
really
man.
Appreciate that. And hopefully we'll get to see you soon at some point.
I think he said April. I think he's coming over Easter time. So look forward to that, David.
So fingers crossed with that. We'll be back to talk about Ipswich in a second.
Innovation Labs is business hub and co-working space with strategic locations across Suffolk. Our aim is to foster innovation, entrepreneurship, business growth, and the development of an AI centre of excellence in Suffolk. Monthly hot desks are available from just £79. For more info, head to innovationlabsgroup.com or contact info@innovationlabsgroup.com. Innovation Labs, providing support for businesses across Suffolk. Locations in Stowmarket, Ipswich, Sudbury, Woodbridge, with more to follow.
More FA Cup memories coming in the chat, which I love. Adam Flat, into Adam. Hi, chaps. Remember a dreadful cup game away at Chester, your neck of the woods, Seb. The only positive was watching a talented John Walters.
And I think we won the replay 1-0 with a Matt Richards goal, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I didn't go to the away game.
Absolutely freezing.
Yeah.
So, and you guys was just saying it's all been meh. What about, there you go. If it wasn't for the FA Cup, we wouldn't have had John Walters. So there you go. Carl Weathers, Flim Flam. Carl Weathers, a striker when he played midfield. A bit of a predator. Like that. Love that gag. Ian Baranoff, our mate from Darlington's with us. Darlington once beat Chelsea 4-1 in the FA Cup at Feetham's ground, Darlington. Tennis was 15k. It was in 1950, a bit before your time then, Ian. But yeah, you always have. There's always FA Cup memories in there. Here we go. And a question: what club got the lucky losers place when Man United played in the Club World Cup back in the day? Oh,
I remember them pulling out, but I couldn't tell you who went in there instead.
Yeah, get that in the chat as well. I'm not sure about that one. That was when the FA Cup started to die, wasn't it?
Yep.
There you go. FBL tractor Roy Essendon answered an advert on teletext.
That was it.
He did play in that game. Yeah, it was. The memories of that one it's a great header, isn't it? But isn't Laurie Sanchez is the Wickham manager, and he's been sent off and is in watching the game in a TV.
He is from the tunnel.
And goes absolutely crazy when they score. So that's a great FA Cup memory as well. A lot of chat about Ronnie Radford. Proper ball with laces and everything. Love
pretty
that.
Much.
Adam Flat back with Man United, Arsenal, Villa Park, Giggs' wonder goal. The Gerrard versus West Ham final. Michael Owen beating Arsenal in the last 10 minutes. Sadly, not many good Ipswich memories, but yeah, we can enjoy some fun times in the FA Cup, whether they're Ipswich or not. What else have we got here? Well, should we talk? Oh, here we go. Ian's back. TalkSport got Darren Bent covering that one, so he'll be able to harness his inner Terry Butcher after Lincoln when it all goes all right. No. Let's move on. Let's talk about us, because a lot of folk asking about that, and David talking about Humphreys here. Who wants to go first with their lineups? Who's going to show their cards first?
So, okay, I'll go. So I've gone Walton, Donessian, Edmondson, Wolfenden, Davis. I've got Morsey and Ball in midfield. I think Edwards might come in for Burns. I've got Ladapo, Jackson, Chaplin. No. I've gone...
and they'll lose 1-0, Dave.
Okay, I just haven't got a clue here. I've gone Kladky, KVY, Keogh Burgess, Agbaji.
Yeah.
Edwards, Humphreys, Camera, Chiwira, Chaplin, Jackson. Is that even 11? Is that 11? I'm not sure.
That
might just be 10. I think it's about right. There you go.
Yeah. Well, I agree with your back five. I've gone for a similar back five there as well. I've gone Ball, Humphreys.
Okay.
I've gone Harness, Chiwira as my 2 10s.
Yeah.
And I've gone Jackson up front.
Not too dissimilar.
Yeah. Seb, what are you thinking?
I've gone Kladky as well. I've got KVY, Keogh Burgess, and Alfie Armin at left back, but it would probably be Agbaji, like you say. I've gone for Kamara and Humphreys in midfield, with a view Ball on the bench to replace Camera after an hour or so. The three behind, I've gone Chiwira, like you guys have, Edwards and Jackson, but I thought maybe he'll give Chaplin a game to maybe get some form back, and maybe an easy win if he can bag a couple of goals. And I've gone for Ladapo up front because of the kind of game it's probably going to be with non-league centre-halves. I think you want that strength up there, which I'm not entirely sure John-Jules will give you, and Jackson won't either. So I've gone Ladapo as the focal point.
Interesting. Are we thinking that Kamara's ready for a start, guys?
Well, it's 60 minutes last week in the 4-4 draw, didn't he? The day before the Charlton game. So surely they must have penciled him in for this one. I don't think it'll complete 90 minutes, and I guess it'll either be a case of start the game and bring him off after an hour, or maybe bring him on for the last half an hour, depending on where his fitness is at. It'll be interesting what he does on the bench. Do you go with the experienced in case it's not going to plan, or I'd like to see maybe Cameron Stewart, Nico Valentine's just signed a new deal. Who's that? The young striker, Gerard. Someone signed a
Gerard Boabu.
So maybe we'll see a bench with those guys, and maybe the likes of Edmondson and Ball as the kind of experienced cover on the bench if you need to resort to a bit more experience. And now it's not going to plan, but I think if we need them, we're probably in a bit of trouble.
Be good to see Burgess back, I think, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
I think we all thought that after last weekend, perhaps.
Yeah. His Solly, I reckon it'll be 75% team like Cambridge in the Cup. Couple of 23s, but not ourselves. Nick's going full team out, stick the full team out. So yeah, interesting thoughts about those ones. I just worried a little bit about risking first team like the best players in a game like this where it might get a bit physical. Guys, do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Potentially,
I think so. Yeah. I think you're right. I think the back five probably is fairly nailed on. Okay, whether a Badgie or whoever are playing left side there, but yeah, I think we were generally pretty much similar with the front 5-6, weren't we? After that,
I think the Badgie's a right-sided.
He's a right back, yeah. So
he's right.
Vincent Young on the left.
So
Vincent Young, switch. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
A lot of Darlington chat tonight, which is great. Darlington FC players all have jobs and then play their games. Yeah, that's the way it is for a lot of guys, isn't it, at this level? Michael, I can remember FA Cup coverage started at 10. I assume the final, right? Was it before that?
Mate, it was unbelievable. So yeah, I'd say 10 o'clock, and you used to have cup final mastermind, used to have cup final, it's a knockout. You have to, I was just, the teams on the way to Wembley, meet the teams in the hotel before. I was a football fest cup final day, and you were just there, in front of the telly from 10 till, well, whatever, 5:30 probably. And then obviously over the park afterwards, recreating it. Brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
Those were the days. FXT though, I fear you low around the corner. Don't say it. Don't say it. Shrewsbury beat us third round the year after.
Did indeed. Yeah,
do you remember that one?
I do.
Eric's just triggering you now as well. Clive Thomas. That's one for GB as well. I know you and GB have talked about that one before, but yeah, you remember that one? I think I've got that on that match of the day VHS that I talked about.
I do. We lost twice. Shrewsbury were a team back then. We played them about 3 times in 3 or 4 seasons and lost twice to them. Yeah.
I'll have to dig that. No, I won't dig that one out. We want to lift the mood, everyone. Lift the mood. Michael, how to win the game? K-Mac to wear a raincoat and skip onto the pitch. Yeah, we're cool. Lots of callbacks tonight. I'm loving this.
AKA Bob Stokoe.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. What else have we got? Lots of there's as long as folk are enjoying themselves in the chat, that's all right with me. FBR Tractor's given us his team. There we go. Looks very familiar.
Similar, isn't it? Yeah. I'd like to see Chawera get a game because I felt bad for him in the Cambridge Pizza Cup game when Edwards got sent off. He kind of started in the 10, didn't he?
Yeah.
But when Edwards got sent off, he had to shift across to the left-hand side, so we didn't really get a fair kind of crack of the whip. So I'm really hopeful he might get a start.
Do we dare ask for some? We've got some Ron manager going on as well. Let's keep it. Just keep it.
Love that.
Wasn't it? Oh, marvelous. We'll have to watch some Fast Show. It's been a while. We'll come back for some predictions at the end. We've got a few bits and pieces to mention, and then we'll end with some shout outs and chats. Get your thoughts in. We'll talk anything while you want us here, and we can obviously talk FA Cup, but we can talk turnstiles at the back of the South End pitch improvements. We can talk about Luke Wolfenden and his other half having a baby. We could, whatever you guys want, we'll stick around as long as the numbers stick around. We will as well. But worth mentioning, and I alluded to it before. Monday night will be Seb and I hopefully Ben will be full strength. He's been unwell the last few days. We will be watching the game live and reacting in real time with all of you. What could possibly go wrong? Well, lots, because we did it last year. For the Barry game, Ben and I, and it was a slog. So if you want a little bit of group therapy, or hopefully not, hopefully it'll be nice and comfortable, and we'll come back for your predictions in a second. Monday night, probably about 7 o'clock, 7:30, I think. We'll put the details out over the weekend and on Monday, and join us then. If you're not one of the 300 odd people, 350 maybe, who are able to make it to the game on Monday night, which means that we won't be having a flagship show on Sunday as usual. Obviously not a huge amount to talk about, but normal service will resume next week. And I say that, I'm not sure it will, because next weekend after Cheltenham is the live event. Seb, isn't it? You're nodding your head, so you can talk to me about the live event. Are you getting worried yet that you've got some stuff that you need to be doing, or
You've
have I
given me my
given-
list of things to do. It's
Yeah.
mainly tech related, and I'm not really a tech person, so it could all go horribly, horribly wrong.
Brilliant.
Make sure you come and join us. Obviously, after the Cheltenham game in the Sir Bobby Robson Suite, doors at 7:30, kick off at 8 till about 10 o'clock. We're going to have some quizzes. We're going to have some fun. We're going to discuss, hopefully, a win over Cheltenham. There's a bar there, so get yourselves down there. Tickets available at Blue Monday ITFC.co.uk. Discounted rates for our Telegram members, our chat service members, and it's going to be great, isn't it? I'm really looking forward to it. We've got almost a full complement of us going there. I'm making the trip down from Chester, and it's going to be a really, really good evening. I was there at the last one in 2019, I want to say, was it? I know we lost that day, didn't we? Did we lose to
Drew Stoke?
Drew, that's it. We scored a last minute equaliser, didn't we? Yeah, that was it. Yeah, sorry. So I was there that day as a fan and delighted to be taking part. And yeah, come and see us. Tickets are still going strong, still some available. So Blue Monday ITFC.co.uk. Come along and we'll chat some ITFC for the evening.
Get involved. Yeah. Do you remember much of the previous one, Dave? It was quite hectic, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I remember my son coming with his mates mob-handed and getting a lot of abuse from the back of the crowd. But no, I do. It was a really good night actually. Yeah, it was good that was at the Curve Bar, wasn't it? Yeah, I can remember. Just sort of random people. Again, we didn't have a Telegram group there, so we didn't have the communication with our followers, subscribers as we have now. So that was brilliant. And it'll be brilliant next Saturday as well. Just to meet, I know loads of people are coming along, so it'll be who are in the Telegram group and people I haven't met before, and some of us haven't met before. So it'll be a really good night. And apparently, you said that apparently the Joe and Craig's quiz will really sort the men out from the wheat from the chaff, the men from the boys, wasn't it? Apparently.
Yeah, we're going super nerdy with the quizzes. I think Mikey's got a picture quiz as well. So yeah, we've got all kinds of stuff that hopefully will all kind of culminate on Saturday. Some interesting. We've got so essentially the venue will be split into twos. There'll be kind of like an area where we can all mingle and have a drink and have a chat. And also we'll have a few displays from a few supporter groups and that kind of stuff. I can't really say too much about that now.
I'm actually looking forward to your segment, Rich, of managers' voices down the season.
Yeah, well, maybe.
You've got to go wider than that. I'm afraid you got to go.
Yeah, I'm out of practice. I'll have to get working during the week. It'll be kind of like everyone close your eyes and yeah. 4 flew off into.
I've been saying it's Paul Cook, isn't it?
He's right. I can't believe we got him. We got him. Where were Chesterfield today? So yeah, come and join us in 3D in person. Just an excuse for a load of Ipswich fans to meet up, have a chat about football and natter, and nice to be communal at Portman Road as well, of all places as well. So super grateful for that as well. Blue Monday ITC.co.uk, as Seb mentioned. You can also find our merch store there if you want to get yourself a hoodie for the winter, and I think we might have Santa hats at some point as well, so keep your eyes peeled there. Good old technology, eh? And all the details for our shows are on there as well. So that's it. Any predictions in the chat? I'm looking. A lot of random chat. Sign Ray call for the game, and we example of the laughs.
I could have a word, possibly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, get on the phone, Dave.
Not that far from Pompey, up the A3. Not too bad.
Could do a job. Paul's got one at memory here. Midweek afternoon cup, early 70s against Birmingham because of power cuts.
Yeah, that was league. That was a 3-0. Yeah, that was a League Cup. Yeah, we did. Look, I think I'll put you right. We certainly lost 33. I think that was a Bob Latchford hat trick, I believe. Paul.
So Kenny Burns played up front. That ringing bells for you?
Yeah.
Cool. We're going down memory lane. There's a chat of food in the quiz as well. Matt, read the quiz. Are the questions on Mr. Spock? And yes, what canal joins? No, it will be much nerdier than that, Matt. So do your research. I can't divulge anything more than that.
I've got visions of the Office quiz. Though.
I had to go home.
It'll be throwing one of Rich's trainer over the back of the Sir Alf Ramsey stand.
That's the real quiz. Who can get their shoe into the centre circle? We won't be allowed back, will we? The predictions are coming in. Wow. Let's go on, guys. You give me your thoughts first. Let's have predictions. Are you worried, or are you predicting a steamroller? I mean, we might need a steamroller on the pitch after whatever they've done to it on Birmingham City style. But Dave, what's your prediction?
I'm going for a 0-4.
A 0-4, Seb.
I'm going for a 6-1. I think they might score. I think they might get a moment.
Set play.
Hopefully not the opening goal, but yeah, I think they might get a moment, and hopefully they will. But I think surely, even the teams we've mentioned where we're playing a mixture of reserves and kids, we're still going to have way too much for them, aren't we? So 6-1, I'm going for. But as we all know, I am rubbish at predictions. So
that is true.
Me too. I'm
That is
absolutely
true.
terrible.
Yeah, you both are.
Yeah,
Where's
rubbish.
Matt? Where's Matt
Rich,
making?
listen, come on, Rich, give us it. What are you saying?
So
you're going
I
for a
also,
0-0.
I also. Can you imagine we get a replay?
Replay.
Oh man, I mean that'd be great for. Wouldn't that be great for Bracknell? They got themselves a
sensational.
replay. I mean, we haven't got too many home games in November, so it might be nice to have one to the mix. No,
No, don't.
I'm sure we'll win. But I do think we'll concede, and I would think it will be. Do you remember? Was it Dagenham away when was it 4-1?
Did we?
And we
go one-
conceded first,
We did, didn't we?
and then Peralta, I think, scored. And that
Scores
was
twice.
that was the game where Andy Marshall came in because Serini wanted a rest.
And Stewart gets one, doesn't he, on his return from injury from his broken jaw and stuff? Yeah.
I am predicting a repeat of that. I don't think we're going to smash them, but I think there'll be a clear margin. But I do think we'll concede, and there'll be a moment of uncomfortableness and embarrassment, and then so right, wow, what have we got here? Let's do them in order, shall we? We've got,
come on, someone's got a 10.
4-0,
come on, 3-0,
8-1 from Jules.
Come on, Jules.
8-0 from Chris. Matt's bringing the copper kettle to toss over the door stand.
Matt, bring it.
6-1, but they score first. Me and Michael agree, but that's what Seb said, isn't it? What else have we got? 3-0 from Charlie. 4-1, 3-0, 7-0.
Yes,
3-0, 1-5. There you go. So there's Nick. I see your 8-1. I raise you 10-1. So there we go. And so the ultimate answer is none of us know. And there's that. If nothing is the magic of the FA Cup, it's that. We have no idea how to predict that one. David's going for a 1-0 draw and a replay, 3-0.
Well, that'd be a good watch along, guys.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine 1-0 watch along? Wow, against non-league team. But who knows? Who knows, guys? Any final shout outs? Get them in the chat now before we say goodbye. We've dealt with Bracknell, haven't we? Anything else that you guys want to mention?
Don't think so. There's no ladies games off Sundays, and it's
they
away
are
now, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're playing. This is their version of the League Cup, kind of League Cup / FA trophy pizza cup combined. They were drawn against #United from the tier below, and they were supposed to be at home, but Felixstowe are at home that day, I think, or the ground is unavailable. So it's been reversed and it's an away fixture. So they are away on Sunday for #. And then after the live event, so I think I can say this, I'm not going to get in trouble. Joe Sheehan and a couple of the players will be at the live event next week. So we'll be able to have a bit of Q&A with them ahead of their FA Cup tie of their own against Luton away. And I think Luton, I need to look up Luton's position in the pyramid. I think they're below us, certainly. But obviously ITFC women had a great run in the FA Cup, hoping for similar this time around. And that starts 13th away at Luton. So not too far away. I think they play, I forget what it is, but yeah, we'll speak to ITFC women players. We'll get Joe Sheehan's views on that at the live event next week, which would be great. What else have we got? A lot of people. Oh, yeah. Thank you for all the nice words about the show. We've got Eric, a new youngster just signed pro. Do you want to, anyone on Twitter want to tell us about that very briefly? David's going to join us.
The guy who signed on Monday night that we spoke about earlier, is that him?
Well, we talked about Gerard Boarbo, didn't we?
Yeah. Was that what I think?
And Nico Valentine signed a 3-year deal as well, didn't he?
Okay.
Pro contract.
So possibly there. But thank you for all the nice words in the chat about the show. What was the other watch along to watch Barrow away? It was FPL chapter, so we've set the precedent there for that one. David's going to be joining us for Charlton in April, fingers crossed. So that will be a good revenge match, fingers crossed for that. Paul says Luton match in Biggleswade. I don't think that's correct. I think I initially said that and that was wrong. They play somewhere else and I've forgotten where it is.
It's going to be right on Paul's doorstep, isn't it?
But it's going to be adjacent to Paul, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it very quickly. They play at Sharpenhoe Road, and I don't know where that is, but I'm pretty certain it's not where Biggleswade play, but double check. And then Nick's predicting Chelmsford in the next round. I wasn't aware they were even in it.
They are.
So there you go. Or maybe even Needham, who we wish all the best against
Yeah.
struggling Burton. So, yeah, interested to see how we get on. Before we go, we need to predict all the games in this round of the FA Cup, don't we? So, Seb, do you want to go first? No.
Yeah, everyone settle in for the next 90 minutes.
Here we go. No, cool. I think we've reached the end. So, on behalf of everyone, thank you everyone if you made it this far. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your contributions in the chat, predictions, shout outs, and all that kind of fun stuff. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Monday night at 8 p.m. Not 8 p.m. ahead of the game against Bracknell. Winnersh tap blow. I do love saying that. Thank you guys. Lots of cool chat and thank you. Appreciate that, everyone. Thank you for that. Hopefully see you guys for the live event. We'll be back for probably a midweek Q&A, if not for the pre-match show. And yeah, thanks again. Thanks to the Greyhound for supporting the pod. Appreciate that. And Dave, any final words? I usually let Seb say goodbye. So
no, nothing. Just hope that it's a good game, and yeah, we run out comfortable winners with no drama.
No dramas. The hashtag no drama. That's the way forward, isn't it? Seb, thank you as always for your contributions. You can say goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Come and join us for the watch along on Monday night. Hopefully, we'll see you after the Cheltenham game at Blue Monday Live.
Whoa! Say you come on, you Blues. Come on, don't change the
game. It doesn't matter. I can't.
Come on, you Blues, surely.
And as always, come on, you Blues.
No. Well, come on. You've got a responsibility here. Right, we are the
all
butterfly.
Right, the success of our season is based on me ending the pre-match every week saying, "Come on, you Blues."
We've got a routine. You know,
have a great time, everyone going there. Very different to normal. I'm confident. 6-1, dead easy. Get the win. Get out of town, and come on, you Blues.